never say to their husbands. Come on, y'all. Come on in the room. I know it's late. It's about 10:15 Eastern Standard Time as I record this. For some of y'all, it's late. Oh, where am I looking? The camera's over here. Okay, so for some of us, it's late. Some of us, hey, you're on a different timeline. So come on in the room. Come on in the room. Okay, you guys, we're gonna get started because I need to be off to bed. 5 things that you should never say to your husband. I don't know how many married women that have in here, but if you're not married and you desire to be married, just save this or get some popcorn, some drink, a little notepad, your journal, and write these down because we're gonna go right through them. Number one, you should never say these two things, one or these two things, because they're so extreme. You always or you never. That's not a good way to get what you want. It's not a good way to win an argument. To tell your spouse, you always do this or you never do that. Unless, if you say you never, it's got to be quantifiable, meaning there is not one time that he's ever did that thing. So if you're saying you never put me first, well, that might not be true. Or you always put me last. Well, that's not might be true. He just might not do it a desirable number of times that you would like, but you don't want to use those extremes. Hi, Lady Bird, how you doing? Talk about Lady Bird. Hi. um, but anyways, come on in the room, you guys. We're talking about 5 things that wife should never say to the husband. So we talked about you shouldn't use those extremes of you never or you always. Another thing is to say, I told you so. I'm guilty. I've done it. I'm still learning. Almost 20 years of marriage, April will be 20 years. I'm still learning. I think I've pretty much learned not to say I told you so, even though it be like fire. Shut up in my bones, fire. Shut up in my bones, because I be wanting to say it because I did. I had told you so. But your husband has to feel like he can fail and not look like a failure in your eyes. Let me say that again for the ones in the back, the ones way up there in the balcony. Your husband has to feel he's at liberty and comfort to fail without you looking at him as a failure. So you have to make him feel comfortable with that. And if you say, I told you so, every time you were right and he was wrong, which might be the majority of the time, you don't want to use that phrase with him because you want him to be the leader. You want him to make decisions. You want him to be decisive. You want him to consult the Lord. You want him to be, a good leader in your family. But if you're always saying I told you so, that make men reticent, real reticent and skittish about making a decision, about failure, about looking like a failure in your eyes, about not looking like he can handle his business. He's already, I'm generalizing here. Not every man or woman is alike, but I'm generalizing that he's already a little apprehensive about making a decision. He's already don't want to look like a failure in your eyes. He already don't know if he's making the right decision about whatever it is. And then when it turned out that it all went to hell, like you knew it was going to go to hell, you don't want to further abase him. You don't want to make him feel bad. You don't want to make him feel like less than a man. You don't want to make him feel like a failure just because of I told you so. I'm learning because I done said a plenty of I told you so. But hey, we try to do better. We try to do better in our lives and in our relationship. Number 3, for those us ladies who go to church and we have a pastor, one of the worst things you could do is to tell your husband, Pastor said. Pastor said. You don't want to bring that into your marriage. It's so I don't care if your husband loves pastor. I don't care if the pastor is your husband's brother. I don't care if the pastor is your husband's father. I don't care if the pastor is your husband, your husband is the assistant pastor and he's the pastor. Or I don't care what the relationship is between your husband and your pastor, or if your husband doesn't even go to church. But he does not want to hear pastor said. Like right now, y'all know my husband used to be a pastor. We closed our church and we moved, and when we came back, we are now under the leadership of another pastor, and my husband is the assistant pastor. And regardless of the fact that my husband's assistant pastor, he's a good friend with the pastor, he does not want to hear me saying pastor said. And we as women, especially women of God, Christian women, we like to use that as a weapon. When our husband is not acting exactly how we want them to act, or we think that they're not doing something that they should do, or they did something that they should not have done, then we want to throw pastor said, or we want to use pastor's sermon notes. In pastor's sermon, he said, or even throw in his face, if your husband is a pastor, or if he is an assistant pastor, or if he is a minister, or if he spoke, or if he reads his Bible, you don't want to throw that Bible back in his face, or the pastor's sermon back into his face, or even his own sermons. Hey, my husband's been a pastor for many, many years, and there might have been times that I wanted to say, you must first be partakers of what you're telling everybody else. But nobody wants to hear my pastor say it. Number 4, wives, don't tell your husband, why can't you be more like whoever? Why can't you be more like my daddy? Why can't you be more like your daddy? Why can't you be more like, insert the name, his brother, his friend, someone on social media that you're comparing him to? Don't compare. Don't compare your relationship. Don't compare your marriage. Don't compare your income. Don't compare your husband. A lot of times this stuff on social media be fake, y'all. I'm telling you. A lot of time it be fake. So don't compare. And even if it is real, even if you find some beautifully, beautifully married people, because there are some beautiful marriages and relationships out there. And I like to think that I have one of them. However, don't compare yourself to anybody else's relationship, and especially don't compare your husband or your man to anybody else by saying, why can't you be more like, and then insert the name. No comparisons, and don't verbalize that. Even if you think it in your mind, everything that comes in our mind is not expedient to say, wives. Deidre. So, and number 5, I think one of the worst things, I'm going to give you a bonus, number 6 bonus, of what I think is the absolute worst, nastiest thing that you can say to your husband. But we're at number 5. I don't need you. Every man needs to feel needed. That is one of the essential needs. We talk about love languages and all of that, and that's awesome. But one of the most essential needs is to feel needed. So when you tell a man that you don't need him, you tell your husband you don't need him, that could be very damaging to his psyche, damaging to his emotions, damaging to his esteem, damaging to your relationship, damaging to how he responds to you, how he looks at you, how he feels about you, how he feels about himself, how he feels about the marriage. And I will admit, I made that mistake one time. I don't know, it could have been maybe like our fourth, fifth year of marriage or whatever. And I asked my husband to do something, and he was just, I don't know, slowful about it. And I did it. And he said, why didn't you wait and let me get it? And I said, I don't need you. Y'all, I did not mean I did not need him as my husband. I did not need him as a provider. I did not need him as a man. I did not need him as a lover, friend, comforter. I did not mean that at all. However, that is what came out of my mouth. I don't need you. And he already knows that I'm an independent woman, or I was. I got married and got independent. But he already knows that I was an independent woman. And so he took that personally when I said I don't need you. So he thought that I meant I don't need him, financially. I don't need him as a friend. I don't need him as a husband, lover, etc. And that is not what I meant. However, perception is reality, and it wasn't even perception because I actually said it verbatim. I don't need you. And I recall that to me that's one of the worst things I've said to him in our marriage, and I didn't mean it. And thankfully he forgave me, and it was many, many years ago. But I guarantee you he probably never forgot the fact that I said that. And I did not mean it at all. But ladies, we have to watch our mouth. We have to mind our mouths when we say things, because we might not mean the way it comes out, but that man is going to perceive it the way he's feeling about himself, or how he's feeling about the relationship, or how he's feeling about how you normally talk to him. So he may perceive it differently than how you meant it, or he might perceive it exactly how you meant it. So be careful with that. Don't tell your husband, I don't need you. The sixth one and last one, and this is just a personal hi. Hi, how are you doing? Thanks and welcome. Welcome. This is the sixth and last one. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to be on here, an hour tonight. But the sixth and last one, the bonus, and this is just personal, because to me, this is like the worst, the most, the nastiest, the filthiest thing that you can say to a man. And of course, like I said, this is Deidre's opinion, but to tell your husband or to call your husband the B word, the BITCH, I think that is the nastiest, most hurtful thing that you can tell a man. I mean, a man who cares for you, a man who loves you, a man, I mean, I wouldn't call any man that, but especially my man, I would never even think to call you that. And I definitely would never let that come out of my mouth. And I've heard women actually call their men that, and then later on, apologize or cry, say, I'm sorry, I didn't. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Very nice. I don't think these comments, when people come back and watch the replay, they don't see the comments, because I always go back to try to find the comments and I can't find them. So I said, you got to start reading the comments out loud in the live, so that people who watch the replay will know why I'm saying, thank you. But someone said, Deidre, are so blessed. You're the best YouTuber. And somebody else said, oh, these are good. Thanks for sharing. So, and then said true. And so, yeah, so I'm just reading off, because I find once in a time when I watch my playback, I realize that people don't know why I'm saying, thank you. So thank you so much for those beautiful, kind words. And I'm so glad to be back on YouTube. But again, that last one, ladies, I beg you, I implore you, don't ever call your man any type of name that's like that, or any type of derogatory name. But especially, don't call your man a BITCH. That just got to be the most debasing thing I feel like you can call a man. Especially a hetero man. Gay men, they use that affectionately. Hey B, hey B. They use that affectionately. But a heterosexual man is, he doesn't look at that as a word of affection, and he does not, and he especially doesn't want his wife or his woman calling him that or referring to him to that, because even once he forgives you when you cry and say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I know of a person who called her boyfriend an F boy. If y'all know that term, F boy. And he was really hurt by that, and talk to my husband about it. It's like, I can't believe she called me that, you know. Yet, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone, because I can't say too much. But anyways, ladies, be mindful of your mouth. If you're not married but you're looking to be married, be mindful of your mouth and what you're saying to that man that you're dating. You can't expect to call him all kinds of derogatory, nasty things and then say, I hope he marries me. No. And even if you know that he forgives you, he hasn't forgotten, and he hasn't forgotten that feeling of what it made him feel like for you to call him those names. So, so you guys, I can hear my door opening. My daughter is home. We're gonna go walking, and then I'm gonna take my shower, and I'm gonna go get in the bed, and then I'll probably be scrolling on social media. So if you see me on social media, mind your business. Mind your business. All right, you guys, thank you all so much for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. Oh, let me just say this last thing before we go. I'm so excited. Now, y'all know, many of you know, I have been on YouTube probably, I don't know how many years, 15, 16, 17 years. And I finally just took the leap into like getting, like, I don't know, like those super chats and where, and getting, I don't even know the terminology yet, but where you can subscriptions, where you could pay for subscriptions. You pay $2.99 a month, you're gonna get this level. You pay $6.99 a month, you're gonna get that level. You pay $9.99 a month, you're gonna get that level. So I don't know, find it on my channel and look it up and see if you'd like to become members, because I'm gonna be offering so much more. A lot of women's self-esteem issues, a lot of relationship advice, a lot of Q and A's. We made my husband come on and do some Q and A's. So it's gonna be a lot of good stuff. Just if you like to be a part of that, just choose a tier that works best for your pockets and works best for what you think the value might be, and go ahead and sign up for membership and all of that good stuff. So, all right, you guys, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I always have the most fun with you all. But you know what? Most of all, I pray. I don't know everybody's name. Even you can tell them 1,000 times. A lot of times I won't remember, but I know you. I do know of you. I know you through your usernames and all of that. I know my community. I know who watches. I know who do likes. I know who share. I know who come follow me over on Facebook and who follow me over on Instagram. And I really appreciate it. Come on in, and I really appreciate it. So I just want to say I thank you all, and I pray over my community all the time. All right, love y'all. Come on, you, my daughter. Come on in. Say peep your head around the corner. Say hi to the people. Hello, everybody. All righty. Okay. Love y'all. Y'all be blessed.